Hello there, it's Travis from manipulated.com, and today I'm going to show you how to animate text. I pre-made this to make this tutorial not seem so boring, because there's a couple parts in this where I just constantly am just like quiet because I'm trying to go by each step and I don't really have anything to explain, so it gets kind of boring. So first off, we have this layer here. This layer is actually all white. So make this, type out your word and make the whole thing white. And I used a black background just because I thought it'd show up really good, but you can use any color you want. I don't care. So we have that. Now you're gonna duplicate your layer as many times as your word is, like as many letters as there are in your word. So manipulated, there's 12 letters, so you're going to duplicate it 11 times because you already have the one layer. So just go ahead and do that, and I'm going to give you a couple minutes to duplicate all your layers, and then I will explain some more. Okay, so you should have all your layers duplicated. So you have that. Turn off all those layers you just duplicated and come back down to your original word layer. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make the first the best way to explain this is that each layer is for every letter in the word. So the first layer would be the first letter. The second layer would be the third layer. The second layer would be the second layer, and the third letter would be the third layer, and so on. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the color of each letter that on its own layer. So we're going to make this one green, sure. And do that for everyone. Mine are actually alternate. So as you can see, I have red, green, red, green, red, green. Do whatever you want for that. It doesn't really matter. And then when you're done with that, I'll give you a few moments to do all your letters. And then we'll move on to the fun part of this tutorial. Alright, so we're going to, after you have all of your letters and everything set how you want, we're going to come up to Window, Animation. And I also have these pre-made to make this tutorial go faster, but either way, I'm explaining it the same, I'm just ahead of what you guys are doing. So, remember when we duplicated the layers? Well, we're going to do the same thing. On the animation palette, we have a button that creates a new layer on the animation palette. Click that as many times as you did before. So if your word is 5 letters, you're going to duplicate it 4 because you have the original. So you should have total amount of layers for how many letters there are in your word. So I have 12, and what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to change each frame, which is each of the squares in the animation palette. Those are what changes to make the animation. So for the first layer, we're going to turn the first layer on. For the second layer, we're going to turn the second layer on and the first layer off. We're going to turn the third layer on for the third frame. For the fourth, we're going to do the fourth, and so on and so forth. So when you have that done, I'll give you a few moments to do that, and then we're just going to be really cool. Alright, so once you have that done, we're going to, before we preview our animation, let's slow it down a little bit so it's like noticeable. So on each of these frames, at at the bottom of them should be a time frame kind of thing, and it should be set at 0. We're gonna put it at we're gonna click the arrow on the frame, and we're gonna set it at 0.1 or whatever you like. I set mine to 0.1 for all of these. That is how long that part of the animation will show. So you can go ahead and do that. Mine are all set to 0.1, which I think is fairly good. It's fast, but it's noticeable. So when you're done with that, click back on the first frame and click this little play button right here. You should now have an animation. Now, that's pretty spiffy. There's many ways to animate things. You just gotta play around with it. It's all about changing each frame. Because like I said before, a frame is what changes. So just whatever changes, it's whatever you're gonna do to one frame that's different than the other, it's gonna change. It's gonna be animated. You can do this whatever you want. You could animate pictures if you wanted. I'm sure you guys have seen those around MySpace and Facebook or whatever you guys use, where people would take 2 pictures or something and they can animate them. So what we're going to do now is we're going to save it. Before I save it, a lot of people might have, if you're going to use this on a website or a MySpace, and if you keep this constantly, if you don't really want to change it, you're going to want a transparent background. That's a lot less work to do. You don't have to go back and edit anything. It's all the same. So if, let's say you have one day on your website a blue kind of setting, and then that's what your animation background is originally, and then you change it to pink or whatever, it's not going to look good at all. So we're going to want it transparent so it blends in. So I had a new layer created, because when you create a new document in Photoshop, you should automatically have a transparent. You can set it, or you set it to transparent when you come up here to new, and then you set it to transparent. And so mine is automatically like that because I usually like things transparent, so it just saves a lot of time. But then I created a new layer and I filled it with black. You're gonna turn off that layer if it will let me. Okay, so we have that layer turned off. I think that should affect all of your frames. Yes, it affected all of your frames, but look, it's still, you can still see it, barely, because of the checkered transparent-y-ish. So, that's transparent. We're going to come up here to File, Save for Web. Then we're going to come over here, where it has the file type, we're going to select GIF. Make sure it's transparent, and you can pretty much leave all the other settings how they are. So we're just going to want transparency, check that box, click save, and save it what you want. And that, my friends, is how you animate text. Check back for more tutorials, and if you have any questions, email me at travis@manipulated.com.